Right there, Doug? I got you. Maybe not. All right, so if I can't reach it, and all 9.5 feet of you can't reach it, I guess I'm gonna have to come up with something, huh? Back to the garage we go. So this really is an MS-462 steel chainsaw with a 25-inch bar on it. And I believe to date it is the world's most powerful pole saw. But that's not what we're here for. I had a company send me a actual electric pole saw to do a review on. So we're gonna go ahead and put this monster away before somebody wants to cut down a big tree with it, and go ahead and get into the review of this particular pole saw that was sent to me. I guess it's time to stop screwing around with that big saw and actually show you what we're really here for. And I received this 8-inch pole saw from IMOUMLIVE. And what I got here is as it's packaged up in the foam. And there's the extension pole that goes with it, as well as the saw. And the neat thing about these two is you can run it with or without the saw, or excuse me, with or without the pole. And it came with a brush, a bar nut wrench for the nut there, and came with this teeny tiny little chain file. Came with a spare nut for the bar and a little brush to clean out the chain area and everything else. Let's get this thing unpackaged, put it together, and show you how it works. All right, so first off, here's the saw. And it comes with a 21-volt battery. And it basically just slips up on there like that. And I'm going to show you what else. It comes with this battery charger. And this is, after having some conversations with them, this is the only charger. It plugs into the back side of the battery and then into your wall outlet. The only downside I've come across with this is this charger takes about an hour to get a full charge on, from what I've been able to tell. But either way, battery is just like any other cordless tool you have. Slide it in, and it's got a safety button on the side. So you've got to push that button and then pull the saw trigger. Now with that, you can use this handheld, and I think where I'm going to really enjoy this is in my side-by-side. It will fit just about anywhere up in the cab that I would want it, and it'll also fit in the bed of the side-by-side. But when we get to this portion of it, I also checked, and this extension pole is pretty unique in the features that it has. It telescopes, so you undo here and here. It'll telescope up here and then up here. And with this head, it pivots and rotates. So what makes that kind of unique is, let me take the battery off of this. You slide this into the head, lock that in, and now there's your extension pole. And you might be asking, well, wait a minute, what do you do here? Well, the battery then goes in the backside, lock it in, and it's got the same feature. Here's the safety button and the trigger. So now when I've got this up, when I'm trying to extend it, pull the trigger. Now I've got a pull saw if I need to reach up high to get something. And again, release that. Release that. Put that back there, and then if you want to put it inside the side-by-side or the bed, you've got that. The battery stays on that, or you can put it back on that and use it as a hand pruner or something that's not out of reach. So one other thing that this kit comes with, one of the most important things that I think, is the safety glasses. They actually provide you with a pair of safety glasses. I highly recommend wearing a pair. So it comes with everything you need. It also comes with a strap so you can hook onto the saw. And if you want to wear that and so it isn't real heavy. It comes with this little guard. It isn't a break or it isn't a brake type of guard or anything like that, but it's got the guard so you're not getting wood or anything into your hands. You do plug the battery in, and the other thing that it's got is it's got its own primer oiler on it. So you fill up this with bar oil or any kind of lubricating oil is what they say in there. I put a little bit of motor oil in there, and you just take and press the primer ball. And I've had the cover off of this saw, and out of that primer ball there's a hole in there that runs it down through the track of the chain, or excuse me, through the bar, and oils your bar up. This one here is you unloosen that, and then you unloosen your bar nut, then this will actually give you your chain tension on there. So that's how you adjust your chain tensioner. So pretty neat little setup. I think that this particular pole saw would be perfect in a residential area. Let's say you've got neighbors right next door and they're out barbecuing or having a picnic or whatever. There would be absolutely no reason that if it's your day off and you needed to get outside and wanted to trim some limbs, that you couldn't take this thing out and use it to trim limbs, and you would not annoy or offend the neighbors no matter what they were doing next door. So that's the benefit of electric powered 21 volt pruning saw. So let's get outside and try this thing out. In the side-by-side, I can just put this in the bed. It's not like one of the big steel pole saws that I have that it's almost too long to fit in the bed of my side-by-side without dangling over. So this thing is about perfect length for doing a little bit of minor tree trimming that you might get whacked in the head with when you're on your riding lawnmower. All right, so I've got the extension pole and the regular saw, and looking up here you can tell that from my height, when I come through here on the tractor, this particular limb usually hits me in the head or hits the cab of the tractor. So I think we're going to go ahead and put the extension on there and give this a try. The other thing about this is that I guess it depends on what extension you have on it. But this also, if you pull the release button, this rotates so you can pivot this. Let's say if you were in an awkward angle or whatever and needed to rotate that, that works that way too.
A little bit lighter than the 462, right?
Oh goodness, yeah. I think I could do that limb maybe twice with the 462. I think I could run this thing all day and not have my arms get too worn out. And I'm going to go ahead and extend it out because I know it's a little bit further away. So one other thing, I want to go ahead and rotate this down, put it on an angle and give it a try and see how that works. Let's see, here's one more that I want to take. And the reason I angled that is so I can actually see where I'm getting into here. That actually makes that kind of nice, because at some points when you're straight on with it looking straight up, you can't see where your bar and chain are, but by being able to just put it on a little bit of an angle, that actually kind of works nice, because then I can see, if you come over here, when I'm looking up with it on an angle, I can see exactly where that bar and chain is there, but when I've got that thing straight on, you can tell if you look up that pole, I can't really see my bar and chain, so it's hard to tell where I'm cutting. So that's a feature I guess I didn't know that I was gonna like that much. But now I get that on an angle, I can see right where that bar and chain are, so I can get that trimmed to the side of the tree nicely, so I don't have to go back like I did and take off a little bit of that stem. This little saw works pretty darn nice. I'm actually impressed. I've asked the help of a professional, someone who's in the woodyard all the time and knows his stuff about saws. Adam had a good point that he pointed out to me that I guess I wasn't watching.
So I also have a battery powered pole saw, and one thing that I've noticed with mine is that the chain comes loose pretty frequently and easily because you're cutting stuff so far away from you and you don't have real good control that far away, and it wants to get bound and pinched in the trees and stuff. So it tends to stretch that chain and pull the bar back in and causes it to come loose. And I find that I throw my chain on my pole saw all the time. So that was one thing I pointed out to Doug was, hey, your chain's getting loose. And I think he wanted to show you guys how easy it is to tighten the chain on this.
Yep, yeah, and it's a brand new chain, so it's going to stretch, and it's also just, it comes loose because you're bouncing it off of little limbs. So let's go ahead and show you how easy it is to tighten the chain on that. All right, so first thing, I'm just going to unclip it from the extension pole. One thing that does is it de-energizes. There's no battery in it, so we're safe there. And then it comes with this little bar wrench. Just give this a couple of turns to unloosen it, and I actually saw the bar just drop, so I know it's loose now. And then all you do is just give a little snug on that to tighten it up, and now we're back good and tight again. So it's pretty simple. And then tighten your bar, and I always like to put upward pressure on that when I tighten one. So tighten the bar back up. And don't over tighten these things because you'll strip them nut right out of there. And now we're back and we're good and snug and tight. Ready to run. All right, like I said, I enlisted the help of a professional. And we're gonna go ahead and see what he thinks of it, get his opinion. So, what do you think, Adam? Hometown Acres with 120,000 subscribers.
So my pole saw is a Toro 60 volt pole saw. This being a 21 volt, that's the same as what a cordless drill is much lighter. That's the first thing I noticed, is this is very light, and I like that because I feel like you could run this a lot longer. I actually think the extension pole is possibly maybe a little bit longer than mine is.
And please, guys, this is not the average size human being. He's got another 3-foot reach on any of us, so don't look at this thing and think, boy, it really gets out there with him holding it.
Yeah, but I like it. I mean, it does what it needs to do. It cuts limbs that are up and out of these things that you can't reach by hand. So.
And I honestly think that this is a really, really nice residential saw. I mean, for going around and pruning up some of these limbs that you get hit in the head with a tractor or whatnot, I think it's actually going to be pretty nice. So
you can see, I'm holding it here with one hand. It's well balanced too, between the weight out there and the weight on the back end. I do like the fact that when you put it on the pole, you move the battery to the back, because that gets that weight from here back to your pivot point on your hip.
That is a really cool feature, having the battery back on the back side of it.
Yeah, it just moves that extra little bit of weight back here instead of out where the saw is.
I wanted to get to one more feature that I think is going to be really nice. So now I've got all these limbs on the ground. I'm just going to go ahead and unclip this, put the battery on it, leave the pole there, and here's something that I cannot do with my steel pole saw that I have. And Adam also said that he can't do it with his either. And that is break it down to a conventional size saw. And now I can go through here and cut these up, delimb them to a size that's manageable for putting into the wagon. That's actually very handy to be able to go ahead and break these limbs down.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
You don't have any chainsaw chaps on.
Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Most homeowners won't have chainsaw chaps, so I guess you got to be careful. But I don't know what to tell you. I'm at a loss for words. But thanks for pointing that out, Adam.
I figured if I didn't do it, somebody in the comments is going to.
Know. There. Nobody has to comment on the no chaps because Adam just threw me under the bus. There, I've got all them limbs broke down to 4 or 5 foot lengths that'll fit nicely into a wagon. Make cleanup a lot simpler. I don't need a big huge lawn cart or a way to haul away long limbs. So that right there sure makes it nice. Once I get them lopped off the tree, to go ahead, shorten them up into manageable lengths. So I think we're going to do the wrap on this thing, and this extension pole and the saw that comes with it. I'm actually very impressed with this thing. And if you guys have any interest in it, I'll leave a link in the description. Boy, to be able to do the tree work and then the groundwork, to be able to break these two apart and still utilize them, very handy. And if you're a weekend warrior that really doesn't want to have to deal with gasoline and mixing oil and everything for a chainsaw, this little battery powered unit is, I think, the way to go. So if you have any comments on the electric powered little pole saws, let me know what you think of them there. And otherwise, take a look at the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get reminders for when the next video is coming out. Thanks. Thank you, Adam, for helping out, and we'll see you again on the next one. All right, I just wanted to show you that this wasn't a one-time deal here. We're going to actually cut about a 12-inch log.